A thriving middle class acts as a bedrock for societal stability, ensuring a more secure and balanced society. Conversely, a shrinking middle class spells trouble, leading to increased wealth gaps, divergent demands among different societal groups, and heightened social tensions. In fact, China's mishandled governance is wreaking havoc on the economy, delivering a severe blow to the middle class. The bewildering policies and ineffective management are causing property values to nosedive, plunging families into financial turmoil. The visibly frustrated middle class is confronting the harsh reality of a declining economy. This turmoil extends to the automotive sector, witnessing the closure of 1,004 car dealerships in China. This collapse serves as a stark signal of the challenges faced by China's middle class. It's a tumultuous journey marked by frustration and adversity as they grapple with this economic nightmare, uncertain about when improvements will materialize. Several major signs are emerging. China's middle class is collapsing. The collapse of the real estate market and the overall economic crisis in China have contributed to the downfall of the middle class. As the real estate crisis unfolded, the wealth of numerous Chinese families was eroded, turning many middle-class individuals with mortgages into a debt-ridden group. Faced with declining home values, the middle class is now forced to decide between selling at a loss or holding onto their properties for an extended period. In case buyers experience unemployment or salary reductions, repaying loans becomes even more challenging, instilling fear and uncertainty among the middle class and hindering their willingness to consume. Overseas economic researchers suggest that the crisis in the Chinese real estate market is severely impacting the country's middle class, with 70% of household assets tied to real estate. A 5% decrease in property prices results in the disappearance of $2.7 trillion in housing wealth, according to information from a Chinese real estate residential information service platform. The second-hand luxury housing market in 2023 exhibited increased listings and decreased listing prices. Notably, the listed prices of high-end residences in Beijing, Shanghai, and Guangzhou saw a substantial adjustment, decreasing by approximately 5% to 15%. As many families in these cities consider real estate as their primary asset, the decline in property values has plunged the middle class into a precarious financial situation, especially since many of these properties were purchased through loans. In the first week of the new year 2024, Apple's iPhone sales in China plummeted by a staggering 30% compared to the previous year. Following widespread price reductions on various platforms, Apple China's official website introduced a rare New Year limited-time discount on January 15th. This promotion covered a range of products, including phones, computers, and tablets, with the highest discount of approximately $70 for iPhones and about $110 for MacBook Air laptops. Simultaneously, the piano industry in China is experiencing a harsh winter. Mr. Fan, with over 20 years in second-hand piano sales, revealed that over half of China's piano dealerships and music stores closed in 2023. Remaining operational ones are considered rare. The downturn in the piano industry began in 2019, worsened during the pandemic years, and drastically declined from April 2023. According to Mr. Fan's estimate, being able to maintain 30% of previous sales is considered outstanding, with an average around 15%. Those faring worse are estimated to achieve only 10% of previous sales, facing the risk of closure. Mr. Fan attributes this phenomenon to two main factors: a decrease in middle-class incomes and a lack of optimism about the future. China's leading piano company, Pearl River Piano, reported a 60.62% YoY decrease in revenue for the first half of last year in its August 2023 interim report. While the report did not explicitly explain the reasons for the performance decline, it noted risks such as a sluggish musical instrument market, intensified market competition, slow economic recovery, and continuous decline in export trade. Downstream training institutions in the piano industry are also facing difficulties. Incomplete statistics indicate that approximately 30% of China's music training institutions will be closed by the end of 2022. Apart from pianos, the luxury car and watch markets are also on the verge of collapse. Particularly, the second-hand luxury car and watch markets, major consumption areas for the middle class, have suffered significant downturns. The second-hand watch market, in particular, experienced a thorough collapse in 2023, with transaction volumes sharply decreasing from May and prices plummeting throughout the year. The domino effect of real estate crisis on middle-class purchasing the automotive industry's turmoil. In the wake of the escalating Chinese real estate crisis, the once thriving purchasing power of China's middle class has crumbled, marking a profound collapse across every sector catering to this demographic. This downturn paints a grim picture of the inadequacy and frailty underlying the entire spectrum of consumer goods targeting China's middle-income population. The gravity of this situation is underscored by the January 15th exposé from Chinese self-media, revealing the distressing state of the luxury car market, which is undergoing aggressive price cuts and promotions for both new and used vehicles. Despite these desperate measures, sales continues to plummet, casting a harsh light on the overall collapse of consumer-oriented industries. Further intensifying the economic turmoil is the automotive sector in China, which is experiencing an explosive surge in bankruptcies, laying bare the gross mismanagement prevailing within businesses and the overarching deficiencies in China's state-controlled economic framework. A recent casualty of this crisis is Guangdong Yong'ao Investment Group, owner of over 80 4S stores for premium car brands like Audi, Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz, BMW, Land Rover, and Jaguar, recently collapsed due to a financial chain rupture, sparking widespread discussions. The financial meltdown of this prominent player underscores the systemic failures and lackluster oversight plaguing the entire industry. Reports of widespread dealership closures, wage arrears, and delayed vehicle deliveries paint a stark picture of the industry's mismanagement, with employees left in financial distress due to the negligence of companies like Yong'ao. As the Chinese automotive market grapples with these cascading failures, it sheds light on the broader challenges of ineffective governance and financial instability within China's state-controlled economic structure. On January 17th, netizens shared screenshots on a short video platform revealing the sudden crisis in over 80 car brand stores owned by Guangdong Yong'ao Investment Group. There are bankruptcy liquidation risks, and some stores have numerous undelivered cars and vehicles waiting for license plate registration and unpaid purchase taxes. Netizens express their concern about delayed salary payments, creating financial burdens for families. Multiple individuals reported that they are unable to collect their purchased cars from the now closed stores under the Yong'ao Group. Complaints on local platforms indicate instances of wage arrears and delays in delivering vehicles by Guangdong Yong'ao Group's stores. These issues were already raised by employees on the local government platform in April 2023, indicating a recurring problem of wage delays. A user revealed their ordeal working for Guangdong Yong'ao Group's subsidiary Human Yongjie SAIC Volkswagen, where they resigned in mid-July 2023 due to unpaid wages. The complaint highlighted a persistent issue, with employees reporting wage arrears as early as April 2023 on the local labor bureau's website. Multiple complaints on the Dongguan City Sunshine Hotline governance platform accused Guangdong Yong'ao of withholding, January 2023, wages for employees in over 30 4S stores in Dongguan, resorting to coercive tactics like forcing resignations without compensation. Notably, many Chinese car dealerships utilize vehicle certificates as collateral for bank loans. Failure to repay these loans can result in consumers being unable to obtain the vehicle certificate, a crucial document for vehicle registration, insurance, and other procedures. This situation poses risks such as being unable to license the vehicle or receive insurance claims for new cars without the necessary vehicle certificate. The automotive industry in China faced heightened survival pressures throughout 2023, marked by a pervasive price war. According to the China Automobile Dealers Association's survey, only 37.4% of dealers achieved their annual sales targets in 2023, leaving over 60% falling short. Among them, 39.4% completed 70-90% of their tasks, while 23.2% recorded completion rates below 70%. Looking ahead to 2024, dealers anticipate fiercer competition, grappling with challenges like further price reductions, substantial inventory pressure, financial constraints, and low per-vehicle profits. The grim statistics paint a bleak picture of the industry's struggles and uncertainties, indicating a turbulent path ahead. China's automotive industry turmoil and the ominous shadow of CCP mismanagement. In 2023, nearly 1,400 dealers withdrew from the network, and 1,000 4S stores faced closure, according to the semi-annual reports of the top 10 dealerships. The performance of net profit and gross profit margins of these 10 listed dealerships aligns closely with the findings mentioned in the 2023 National Automobile Dealership Survival Status Survey report, released by the China Automobile Dealers Association. The report indicates that 50% of dealers were in a loss-making state in the first half of 2023, reaching a high point in recent years. As September unfolded, various A-share and Hong Kong-listed automotive dealership companies gradually disclosed their financial reports for the first half of the year. During the first half of this year, major automotive brands initiated a wave of price reductions, numerous new energy vehicle models were launched, intensifying competition in the automotive market and impacting downstream sales and after-sales services. Auto Services World analyzed the first-half financial reports of 10 listed automotive dealership companies, including Zhongsheng Group, Yongda Automobiles, Grand Bia Oxen, Zhengtong Auto, Harmony Auto, New Feng Tai Group, Maidest Automobile, Grand Automotive, China National Machinery Industry Corporation, and Century United Holdings. The net profit data, in general, exhibited a decline. Compared to the first half of 2022, only Harmony Auto, New Feng Tai Group, and China National Machinery Industry Corporation recorded year-on-year increases in net profit among the 10 dealerships. The remaining 7 experienced varying degrees of decline. Notably, Zhengtong Auto's net profit shifted from positive to negative, dropping from 0.06 billion yuan in the first half of the previous year to minus 3.86 billion CNY in the first half of this year, marking the most significant decline. In reality, despite certain advantages for traditional 4S stores, the direct-operated, direct sales model also has several drawbacks. Firstly, it carries high risks. Due to the extensive product lines in automotive manufacturing, strict cost control is essential. Having dealerships allows car manufacturers to share interests and risks, reducing the impact of market supply and demand fluctuations. Adopting a direct-operated model requires car manufacturers to face risks directly. Secondly, the direct-operated model demands a significant investment from car manufacturers. While direct-operated stores can provide high exposure, these experience centers often choose prime locations in the core business districts or CBDs of first- and second-tier cities. These locations not only entail high rental costs and personnel expenses, but also pose higher demands on the daily operational management of the stores. Thirdly, the coverage is not extensive enough. As mentioned earlier, relying on the limitations of urban CBDs, the coverage of the direct-operated model is far less than that of traditional dealerships located in suburban areas. Additionally, considering the vast, untapped market in third- and fourth-tier cities, car manufacturers cannot independently support the financial requirements of direct-operated stores and still need to rely on traditional car dealerships and 4S stores to reach consumers in county-level cities. Undeniably, the root cause behind all these drawbacks is the poor management competence of domestic enterprises. Behind this lies the Communist Party-led government of China, contributing to the stagnation in various consumer industries and vehemently denying the economic weaknesses of the nation. The lackluster performance of businesses is indicative of a broader issue, highlighting the inadequacies in leadership and strategic decision-making. This pervasive weakness not only hampers the growth and resilience of individual companies, but also hinders the overall economic progress of the country. The current situation underscores the urgent need for comprehensive reforms in both corporate governance and government policies to address the systemic issues that have impeded the prosperity of China's consumer sectors.
In the wake of a challenging 2023, hopes were high for a more optimistic 2024 in China. However, an unexpected development unfolded at the beginning of the year, shedding light on China's deepening disconnect from the global stage. Sources reveal that a substantial number of foreigners continue to exit China, signaling a notable decline in the foreign population within the country. The percentages have even fallen significantly behind those of impoverished nations like Laos and Cambodia, underscoring a trend that few had anticipated. The number of foreigners in China is rapidly decreasing. Recently, the executive director of the Sino-US Center for Cultural Exchange revealed astonishing data during a speech. The long-term foreign residents in China have sharply decreased over the past decade. The number of Americans has dropped from 71,000 to 55,000, a 23% decline, and the French have decreased from 15,000 to 9,000, a 40% decline. Shanghai, as one of China's most international cities, had 208,000 foreign residents in 2011, but by 2021, it had reduced to 163,000, a 20% decrease. Looking at the proportion of foreign residents nationwide, it is now only 0.05%. To put this into perspective, Laos has a foreign resident proportion of around 0.8%, and Cambodia is at 0.5%. This means that China is not as attractive as Laos and Cambodia, let alone compared to Japan and South Korea. Similarly, wealthy individuals are leaving, and the presence of tycoons is either in the United States or Japan. The massive outflow of talent and wealth has a significant impact on the domestic economy. The consumption power that was originally in the country has been transferred out, contributing to insufficient domestic demand. While we may not be able to intervene in the departure of foreigners, we must make every effort to prevent the collective emigration of Chinese tycoons. On one hand, we need to improve the domestic investment environment to retain high-end talent better. On the other hand, private entrepreneurs should not forget who helped them start from scratch and the historical mission of achieving common prosperity. Since Wanda Group plunged into crisis, its founder, Wang Jianlin, has sold 10 Wanda Plazas in a little over a year. On January 20th, the topic, Wang Jianlin has sold 10 Wanda Plazas, trended on mainland social media platforms. According to mainland corporate information platforms, on the 19th, there was a business change in Fujian Xiamen Wanda Plaza Business Management Limited Company. The wholly owned shareholder, Zhuhai Wanda Business Management Group Limited Company, withdrew, replaced by Ximen Jin Xingyang Real Estate Limited Company. The legal representative also changed from Gaio Qian to Jin Yai. Interface News reported that Xiamen Xi'an Wanda Plaza Business Management Limited Company is affiliated with Wanda Group. The new owner, Xi'an Jin Shengjiang Real Estate Limited Company, was established on April 13, 2011, with legal representative Wu Chengkun and no affiliation with Wanda. Before the change in ownership of Xiamen Wanda Plaza, several Wanda Plazas in China had already undergone changes in shareholders. For example, from December 25th to 29th, 2023, in just 5 days, 4 Wanda Plazas in Jiangsu Dikang, Huzhou, Guangzhou Luogang, and Shanghai Jinshan were intensively transferred and taken over by companies related to Suzhou Lianshang, all fully owned by Zhonglian Canyuan Real Estate Fund Management Limited Company. Wanda Group has transferred 10 Wanda Plazas to ease its liquidity pressure. While Wang Jianlin is selling plazas, he is also establishing a new company. Reports revealed that after Zhuhai Wanda Business Management and investment partner Taimi Investment signed a new investment agreement in mid-December last year, there have been recent developments. On January 16, Dalian Wanda Commercial Management Group Limited Company, Wanda Commercial Management, added external investment and established Dalian Zinza Alliance Business Management Limited Company. The report suggests that Wang Jianlin's continuous sale of Wanda Plazas and ongoing collaboration with other strategic investment entities have secured the spark for the continued listing of Wanda Commercial Management. Wang Jianlin, once the richest man on the mainland, lost the top spot in 2020, and since then, his assets have been continuously shrinking after the debt crisis of Dalian Wanda Group in 2023. Besides selling plazas, Wang Jianlin has repeatedly sold his equity and cashed in, including the sale of Shanghai Wanda Hotels, among others. Shenzhen toy industry faces crisis. Dachi Huaxing shutdown rings alarm bells due to the significant impact of the U.S.-China trade war and the stringent COVID-19 control measures imposed by the Chinese government on the country's economy. Numerous toy manufacturing companies are withdrawing from Shenzhen. Recently, Shenzhen Dachi Huaxing Electronic Heshen's Limited Company announced a halt in production. This well-established Hong Kong-funded toy factory, in operation for nearly 30 years, has served as an OEM original equipment manufacturer for globally renowned toy companies such as Disney. On January 13, Dachi Huaxing issued a notice stating that in recent years, the company has faced severe operational pressure due to adverse conditions related to the pandemic and the current economic environment. The company has been running at a loss for a long time, with no improvement in its financial situation. Consequently, starting January 12, 2024, the company will cease production and all staff will be disbanded. As per the official website, Dachi Huaxing Electronic Shenzhen Limited Company is headquartered in Hong Kong and established its mainland factory in Longgang District, Shenzhen, in 1994, employing over 2,000 people. The company's products are exported to countries such as Europe, the United States, and Japan. Dachi Huaxing is a globally renowned, high-end electronic toy manufacturer that integrates design, research and development, production, and sales. The company specializes in producing plastic electronic toys, remote-controlled toys, electric toys, and advanced electronic consumer products. Its clientele includes globally recognized toy companies such as Mattel, Hasbro, Tommy, and Disney. According to annual reports, the number of Social Security contributors disclosed by Dachi Huaxing Shenzhen from 2016 to 2019 has consistently decreased, indicating a significant decline in the number of employees, business scale, and revenue. The pandemic has exacerbated the company's challenges. Since the 1980s, driven by investments from Hong Kong-funded enterprises, Shenzhen's toy industry has become one of the earliest processing industries in the city. However, in recent years, various costs in mainland China, including labor, rent, social security, and environmental protection, have continued to rise, particularly after the outbreak of the U.S.-China trade war and the stringent control measures implemented by the Chinese authorities during the pandemic. The manufacturing industry in China has suffered significant losses, with reduced orders, internal price pressures, declining factory profits, and measures such as layoffs, furloughs, shutdowns, and relocations becoming the norm. Many toy manufacturing companies in China are relocating from Shenzhen or Guangdong province to regions with lower operating costs, such as Southeast Asia, South Asia, and Mexico. Notable examples include Hong Kong Sunrise International, the world's largest toy manufacturer, officially leaving Shenzhen in March 2020. Hong Kong-based Biofada Toy had Shenzhen Limited Company announcing the closure of its factory in January 2020. A major OEM factory Hongcheng Toy Shenzhen Limited Company, a subsidiary of the second-largest U.S. toy producer Hasbro, officially leaving Shenzhen in March 2019. And Shenzhen Nanling Toy Products Limited Company, a subsidiary of the American group Mattel, abruptly announcing closure in August 2018, catching employees and suppliers off guard. Do you know how many people became unemployed in 2023? I used to think that layoffs had nothing to do with me, but I didn't really understand until the end of last year when some departments in our company started downsizing. Many of us in Suzhou, who were working in loans, were enthusiastically serving customers one day, and the next day we received a message from the team that there were layoffs. Currently, many companies are facing a downturn with declining performance. Due to not meeting the bank's admission requirements, many clients are being rejected. I have a friend who has been unemployed for 6 months and hasn't found a job. Many young people have chosen to work in the food delivery and express delivery industry. So, I think having a job that pays the salary on time every month is already pretty good, don't you think? In recent years, mainland China has experienced an unprecedented wave of talent and capital outflows, making the domestic situation precarious. According to the latest statistical data until 2024, the scale of the outflow of foreign residents from mainland China has reached a staggering 50%. The phenomenon behind this reveals many worrisome issues, triggering concerns and reflections across various sectors of society. Firstly, the massive loss of the foreign population implies that mainland China is losing recognition and attractiveness on the international stage. This may reflect strong dissatisfaction with China's domestic and foreign policies, indicating a rapid decline in global trust in China. For a country claiming global ascendancy, this is undoubtedly a heavy blow, raising questions about China's international image and reputation. Secondly, the migration of wealthy individuals overseas is an unsettling sign. This phenomenon not only reflects a lack of confidence among the domestic affluent class in China's future, but also underscores deficiencies in mainland China's investment environment and social stability. The departure of wealthy individuals with their assets and families signifies skepticism about China's economic and social prospects, serving as a serious warning for China's development. Thirdly, the large-scale outflow of talent and wealth will have profound effects on the economic development of mainland China. Talent is a nation's most precious resource, and such significant outflows mean China is losing many outstanding minds and innovative forces. This directly weakens China's competitiveness in the fields of technology, economy, and culture, making it challenging for China to maintain a leading position on the international stage. Simultaneously, the outflow of wealth directly harms mainland China's economic foundation. The departure of wealthy individuals implies a reduction in domestic capital and an unstable investment environment, leading to reduced job opportunities, an economic slowdown, and potentially social unrest, posing severe challenges to China's economy. All of these issues stem from the accumulated problems and contradictions within the country. Additionally, the massive departure of foreigners has caused panic and insecurity in domestic society, with concerns about the economic situation and social. This sense of panic may lead to social instability, increasing the government's control difficulty and bringing a series of pressures and tests to China's political system. After the departure of a large number of foreigners, China's real economy has also plummeted, and there is a clear degradation in consumer spending, especially among the working class, facing the dilemma of not being able to afford meals. Recently, Chinese farmers are facing unprecedented challenges, with their livelihoods severely impacted. Government land confiscation policies have left many farmers with no place to stand, as they once fled rural areas seeking job opportunities in big cities. However, now even those opportunities are becoming increasingly scarce. The economic downturn has led to unemployment among many farmers, resulting in a large population wandering the streets, creating a worrying situation. The government's forced land reclamation has stripped farmers of their survival base. Once enthusiastic about agricultural production, they are now forced to leave their hometowns, facing a grim reality. Many farmers once flocked to big cities, hoping for prosperity and opportunities. However, these expectations have been shattered by the economic downturn, with fewer and fewer job opportunities in big cities. farmers find themselves increasingly insignificant in the vast urban system, and the impact of economic decline goes far beyond this. The noticeable decline in consumption levels has left supermarkets and shopping malls empty, becoming desolate scenes. Consumer purchasing power has been significantly impacted, reducing demand for daily necessities. The excess of goods on supermarket shelves and the closure of shops and malls create an image of a weakened economy. Large companies are not exempt from the economic downturn, with frequent news of layoffs due to the need to cut costs to cope with market uncertainties. This chain reaction reflects a drastic reduction in employment opportunities, and a wave of unemployment is sweeping in. Many families are facing fragmentation due to the loss of their main source of income, and living conditions are becoming increasingly dire. Farmers, supermarkets, large companies, these elements that once constituted the backbone of Chinese society and the economy are now facing severe tests in the economic downturn. Government land policies and economic decline have further worsened social problems. The plight of wandering farmers, the sharp decline in consumption, the wave of corporate layoffs. These intertwined problems constitute the gloom of China's current economic situation.
The government has no more fiscal resources. The wealthiest regions in the Yangtze River Delta and Pearl River Delta are running out of money. Over 1 million bathing centers have gone silent, and Wenzhou's foreign trade factories can't afford to pay wages. New energy headquarters are overgrown with weeds, and recent graduates with master's degrees struggle to find jobs. Public servants and teachers face widespread salary cuts and layoffs. In 2024, China's minimum wage standard is 1,580 yuan, with a total social debt exceeding 65 trillion yuan, more than 5 times the entire Chinese GDP. Let me tell you a cruel truth about Wenzhou now. You might find it hard to believe that many Wenzhou residents, especially business owners, are living in extremely difficult conditions. Unlike previous years, when factories were busiest at this time, it's like filling bags with money at the end of the year. This year is different. It's not because there are no orders, it's because many factories dare not take orders. In our current shoe business, we might have to wait for 3 months or even more exaggeratedly, 6 months to receive payment. Before the Chinese New Year, we can't get the money, but we still have to pay our workers' salaries, settle payments to suppliers, and cover production costs. If we don't pay utilities, the landlord will immediately cut them off, and if we don't pay rent, we'll be evicted. So, it's really tough. We can't take big orders now, and even small orders are risky because of the poor market conditions. If we encounter a customer who disappears without paying, we would end up working for nothing in a year. That's why moving forward feels like stepping into an abyss, and stepping back feels like facing a cliff. It's really challenging. I went for 3 job interviews yesterday, and oh my, I couldn't believe how low their salaries were. It felt like a violation of labor laws. The first interview was at Lukin Coffee, and I had asked in advance through WeChat. Lukin Coffee pays 8 yuan per hour for the first 15 days. Is there anyone paid lower than us in this area? It's 8 yuan per hour for the first 15 days. Then, if you pass the barista certification, it's 15 yuan per hour. If you don't pass, it's 12 yuan per hour. In simple terms, I asked in the store, and it's around 2,000 yuan for the first month, 2,700 yuan for the second month, and from the third month onwards, it's a basic salary plus performance pay. I considered it for a moment and went for the interview. The next job was at a convenience store. For convenience stores, they calculate the pay by day. It's 60 yuan for a day's work, and how long is a shift? 9 hours. Also, the morning shift starts at 7 a.m. I haven't woken up at 7 a.m. since I was preparing for the postgraduate entrance exam. Now, just for 60 yuan, I have to start work at 7 a.m., which means I have to wake up at 6 a.m. I can't believe how crazy this is. It's really tough to run a fish market, extremely challenging. There's no business at the fish market. We don't want to just stay flat, and we don't want to lie down and win either. But we can't get it rolling. Look, there's not a single customer. Can I go out on the street to attract people? You see, running a fish market is truly not easy. The government lacks an alternative fiscal option. Even in affluent regions like the Yangtze River Delta and the Pearl River Delta, many government officials complain about the lack of funds, unable to pay salaries. You can imagine the situation. In places like Xi'an and Nanhai in the Pearl River Delta, including the Jiangsu-Zhejiang region, they are unable to pay salaries. Civil servants are facing pay cuts, and teachers are dealing with salary reductions and subsidies. What's the reason behind all this? The inability to achieve an 8-hour workday in 5 days, despite being a violation of labor laws, continues with constant overtime. The reason is simple: a significant portion of employment in China relies on low-end manufacturing industries with extremely low basic salaries ranging from 1580 yuan to 2,580 yuan. Considering the expenses of buying a car, a house, supporting a family, and even affording meals, many people choose voluntary overtime as they dare not offend these companies. The simple reason is that the high-end sector hasn't fully developed, lacking pricing power. It's unable to rely on technology or patents to make money. Faced with the choice between two evils, companies are forced to continue providing employment opportunities without hiring additional staff. These companies depend on squeezing surplus labor and value to generate profits. If the situation were to be properly regulated, these companies might not even have profits, and they might relocate to areas with higher profits, attracting even lower wage workers. This is why China's touted demographic dividend is based on the availability of cheap labor. A master's graduate in liberal arts criticized low salaries at job fairs, with an average wage of only 4,000 yuan. This became a trending topic on Chinese social media. Some people were angry, considering it a waste of talent for graduates from top universities to earn the same as security guards. Others argued that these students were too picky and unwilling to endure hardships. To discuss things objectively, China has around 50 million companies, with only about 5,000 listed companies. After excluding a few 100,000 state-owned enterprises, the remaining 99% are small and medium-sized enterprises, providing 80% of employment opportunities. Most of these SMEs have low technical barriers, so they don't require high academic qualifications and can't afford high salaries. They seek individuals who are inexpensive, reliable, and willing to work hard. For young people, a fresh graduate's monthly salary of 6,000 yuan to 7,000 yuan is considered reasonable for a white-collar position. Having a bachelor's degree is a plus, but even without a college diploma, it's acceptable. So, aiming for high wages at offline job fairs is the wrong approach. Additionally, even in large companies, not all positions offer high salaries. In any industry, regardless of company size or job position, there are generally 4 categories: technical, functional, business, and support. From the average perspective, technical roles are lucrative, with high entry barriers and high salaries. Functional roles are the least cost-effective, with high entry barriers and low salaries. Business roles have low entry barriers but high salaries, and successful individuals often emerge from this category. The final category, support services, has low entry barriers and low salaries but is the easiest. So, individuals should assess their job types to determine their direction for higher wages. Even if you join a large company and work in a core technical or business position with a high salary, most people won't make it to the management level. Therefore, by the age of 35, the salary ceiling is around 10,000 yuan to 20,000 yuan per month. Only industries like finance, the internet, and high-tech can break through this salary limit. This outlines the earning path for a wage earner. As a wage earner in China, even if you have a stable and respectable job within the system, the earnings remain similar. In lower-tier cities, the monthly salary for units on the outskirts is around 5,000 yuan. For top-tier cities, popular units don't exceed 20,000 yuan. Looking ahead to 2024, it's essential not to deceive yourself into thinking tomorrow, the day after, or next year will be better. New growth points are still far away. This is not pessimism, but a call to face reality. For private entrepreneurs seeking improvement in the coming year, it's crucial to understand what happened in the past, how it was resolved, how much time it took, and how much capability is needed. Evaluate whether next year will be better or worse with a pragmatic attitude. The economy will face a relatively challenging period in the next 5 years. This is a rational analysis because the current total social debt is several times China's GDP, and solving the issue of social debt won't happen within 5 years. GDP Deception: the truth behind China's dubious 5.2% GDP growth announcement. In 2023, China grappled with substantial economic hurdles, marked by soaring unemployment rates, widespread salary slashes, and a wave of business closures. Despite these adversities, the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, declared a noteworthy 5.2% growth in GDP for the year, a proclamation met with skepticism from experts. Premier Li Qiang, in a bid to showcase optimism, delivered a message of economic amelioration and a steadfast commitment to openness during the Davos Forum. Nevertheless, doubts persist among economists, corporate leaders, and the workforce, particularly as private entrepreneurs voice apprehensions about the challenging business landscape. The unveiling of China's economic data for 2023, touting a GDP growth surpassing 5%, failed to instill confidence in the stock market. Significant drops were observed in major Chinese stock indices, underscoring a prevalent lack of faith, particularly among foreign investors who divested a substantial amount. Analysts underscore disparities in China's economic data, pinpointing a struggling stock market, challenges in the real estate sector, and obstacles confronting the three pillars of the economy: investment, consumption, and exports. The CCP's credibility comes under scrutiny as experts entertain the possibility of China being in an economic recession. Apprehensions surface regarding the opacity and politicization of statistical data, casting doubt on the veracity of the reported figures. Voices of skepticism resonate through international media, economic analysis circles, and even former officials, all underscoring doubts about China's economic trajectory. They accentuate the adverse effects of the real estate crisis, banking woes, and the withdrawal of global capital. Premier Li Qiang's endeavors to attract foreign investment face critique, particularly from foreign business leaders who shed light on the stringent financial regulations and the challenging regulatory milieu imposed by the CCP. Global fund managers' pessimism is evident as foreign funds are withdrawn from the Chinese stock market. This exodus of foreign businesses and investments is attributed to the prevailing political climate under the CCP. The overarching sentiment is that optimism about China's economic resurgence, based on the CCP's narrative, is likely to result in disappointment. The focus is on the formidable challenges and skepticism enveloping China's economic landscape. More German firms leave China or consider exit. The results of a recent survey conducted by the German Chamber of Commerce in China reveal a significant shift in the dynamics of German companies' presence in the Chinese market. Over the past 4 years, the proportion of German firms contemplating an exit from or actually leaving the Chinese market has surged, reaching a noteworthy 9%. The survey sheds light on the myriad challenges confronting German enterprises operating in China. These challenges encompass heightened competition from local companies, disparities in market access, prevailing economic headwinds, and geopolitical risks, as highlighted by the Chamber. Ulf Reinhardt, chairperson of the Chamber for Southern China, described the past year as a reality check for German companies engaged in business activities within China. Among the 566 firms surveyed between September 5 and October 6, a notable 2% indicated that they were divesting their business operations in China. Additionally, 7% expressed contemplation of such a move. These figures mark a substantial increase from the 4% reported in 2020. Significantly, 44% of the surveyed companies have proactively taken measures to mitigate risks associated with their operations in China, including the establishment of supply chains independent of the Chinese market. This survey aligns with the government's strategy, unveiled 6 months ago, aimed at reducing Germany's economic reliance on China, its largest trading partner. It corroborates earlier reports by Reuters, indicating a trend of German firms diversifying away from dependence on the Chinese market. The broader context involves global concerns about China's assertive stance toward Taiwan, its activities in the South China Sea, and its tightening control over the domestic economy. Many Western countries are actively promoting risk mitigation strategies in response. Amid these developments, a significant 86% of German firms acknowledged perceiving a downward trajectory in China's economy. China's recovery from the pandemic has proven to be less robust than anticipated, with challenges such as a deepening property crisis, rising deflationary risks, and subdued demand casting a shadow over the outlook for the year. Caught in the crossfire of the raging trade war between China and the United States, and battered by the draconian pandemic control measures imposed by the Chinese Communist Party, the Chinese economy is hurtling into a grim descent. A palpable downturn is gripping the nation, with the manufacturing sector taking a severe beating under the weight of these formidable challenges. The repercussions are devastating, resonating across the economic landscape as thousands of factories shutter their doors, and businesses, spanning diverse sectors, face the harsh reality of closure throughout China. Let's delve into how the CCP regime has chosen to address the plight of its economy in the face of widespread closures and observe how the authorities are navigating these turbulent times. Several manufacturing companies are pulling out of Shenzhen and Guangzhou. The first casualties in this unfolding scenario are the factories, especially those heavily dependent on Western orders. Recently, Shenzhen Dachi Acoustics Electronics, Shenzhen, Limited Company, a well-established Hong Kong-funded toy factory operating for nearly 30 years, and once a contract manufacturer for globally renowned toy companies such as Disney, announced a halt in its operations. In a notice issued on January 13, Dachi Acoustics, Shenzhen, cited severe operational pressure due to adverse conditions caused by the pandemic and the current economic environment. The company has long faced losses, with insufficient income to cover expenses and no signs of improvement. Consequently, starting from January 12, 2024, the company will cease production and disband all its employees. Headquartered in Hong Kong, Dachi Acoustics Electronics, Shenzhen, Limited Company established its mainland factory in Longgang District, Shenzhen, in 1994, employing over 2,000 staff. The company exports its products to countries such as Europe, the United States, and Japan. Dachi Acoustics is a globally renowned high-end electronic toy manufacturer involved in design, research and development, production, and sales. The company specializes in plastic electronic toys, remote control toys, electric toys, and high-end electronic consumable products. Its contract clients include major global toy companies such as Mattel, Sega, Tomy, and Disney. The impact on migrant workers is evident as factories shutter, resulting in a massive loss of jobs. Once thriving factories, like the one in Dongguan, now stand deserted, with idle machinery. Factory owners, including John Whalewin, founder of D Works Precision, have witnessed a significant decline in orders, with some enterprises on the brink of closure due to substantial losses. The shortage of orders, supply chain shifts, and reduced overseas orders have created a challenging environment for foreign trade enterprises, particularly those catering to European and American markets. Small-scale restaurants in Shanghai, like Ollie's Beef Noodle Restaurant, face tough times due to reduced consumer spending power and fewer migrant workers, leading to closures. Furthermore, numerous factories, particularly those reliant on orders from Western countries, notably the United States, have been significantly affected, resulting in a substantial loss of orders. Reports indicate that in Guangzhou alone, approximately 1,800 factories have shut down, underscoring the severity of the situation. These closures have triggered a distressing trend where a considerable number of workers are being denied their rightful wages. A factory worker in Guangzhou lamented the factory's bankruptcy, highlighting the financial turmoil faced by both businesses and workers. The non-payment of wages appears to be on the rise, raising concerns about worker exploitation and the broader implications for the workforce. According to data from the China Labor Bulletin, CLB, which monitors workers' rights in China, there has been a staggering increase in labor disputes and cases of labor rights violations. As of November 2023, there were 16,104 reported cases, surpassing annual figures from the past 3 years. Guangdong Province, known for its numerous factories, remains at the epicenter of these labor conflicts. The CLB's analysis attributes the surge in worker protests to the global economic downturn caused by the pandemic, leading to a wave of factory closures in coastal provinces and intensifying protest activities among workers. Guangdong, once hailed as the world's factory, has faced significant challenges, with foreign companies relocating and supply chains shifting to other regions. China's bakery and catering scene, a tale of economic woes. In a distressing narrative, China's economic turmoil has cast a dark shadow, sparing not even the bakery and catering industry. The aftermath of post-pandemic unemployment has birthed a frenzy of new food ventures, igniting fierce competition and sparking ruthless price wars. The once thriving market has devolved from a realm of growth to a ruthless battleground, adding layers of complexity to an already strained industry. As the economic downturn, soaring costs, and cutthroat competition converge, the casualties mount. A staggering 1.2 million Chinese catering enterprises now hang in jeopardy. The heartbreaking shutdown of an upscale pastry shop, located strategically at a vibrant intersection on December 1, 2023. Previously recognized as Mad Edo and later rebranded as Asia Cake Shop, this establishment fell victim to the relentless economic challenges, mirroring a broader storyline resonating throughout China's culinary realm. This unfortunate incident underscores the harsh reality that even for businesses situated prominently in city centers, financial hardships can lead to bankruptcy and eventual closure. Businesses find themselves entangled in a web of challenges. The proprietor of a shuttered bakery shares a harrowing tale of 6 months in operation, bleeding approximately 1.1 million yuan. The economic strain, coupled with exorbitant operational costs, rent hikes, and meager profits, resonates as a common refrain among business owners, culminating in the agonizing decision to cease operations. The toll on China's catering and retail sector is staggering. The annals of 2023 witness the demise of over 120,000 bakeries and pastry shops, a grim testament to a surging closure rate. This ominous trend contrasts starkly with the emergence of a wave of 2-yuan bread shops, adapting to evolving consumer preferences in an increasingly price-sensitive market. Even esteemed brands such as Christine, Tiger Attitude, and Dim Sum Bureau of Momo find themselves ensnared in the economic quagmire, grappling with closures and painful downsizing. The erstwhile glamour of the high-end baking industry, rooted in opulent locales and extravagant decor, now battles a stark reality, a chasm between perceived value and the dwindling willingness of consumers to pay a premium. Investor interest in bakeries wanes, marked by a precipitous drop in financing events and amounts. Alarming data exposes the ephemeral lifespan of China's bakeries, with over half facing closure within a mere 32 months. Food industry saturation results in surplus food delivery drivers, exploited by the CCP to manipulate the impoverished. Amidst a lingering 3-year pandemic fallout, China grapples with a persistent economic downturn and soaring unemployment rates. The Chinese Communist Party, CCP, in its bid to inspire the youth, consistently promotes tales glorifying adversity. However, skepticism surrounds the narrative of Chen Su, a 26-year-old Shanghai food delivery driver who asserts earning an astounding 1.02 million Chinese yuan in 3 years by working 18 hours a day, fulfilling over 116,000 orders. Chen Su presented his income records during a January 13 interview, disclosing monthly earnings exceeding 40,000 Chinese yuan in August 2023, 25,000 Chinese yuan in September, 19,500 Chinese yuan in October, and nearly 26,000 Chinese yuan in November. However, fellow drivers expressed doubts about maintaining a stable monthly income of 30,000 Chinese yuan, questioning the feasibility of the claimed order volume given time constraints. While Chen Su may have embellished parts of his story, blame extends to the multitude of over 100 media outlets that package the struggles of the impoverished as inspirational tales, potentially misleading the lower class. Indeed, a video capturing the plight of Meituan food delivery drivers in Hangzhou, Zhejiang, has surfaced, depicting a distressing scene where drivers are brought to tears due to receiving a mere 1 yuan subsidy for covering a distance of 10 kilometers. This revelation exposes the harsh reality faced by these drivers, highlighting the exploitative nature of the industry. Adding to their woes, the sector enforces punitive measures that disproportionately affect those with fewer completed orders or less online time. This creates a cutthroat environment where drivers, driven by the need to meet order quotas, extend their working hours significantly, especially during adverse weather conditions or holidays. Once viewed as last resort occupations, the food delivery, courier, and ride-sharing industries now find themselves grappling with oversaturation, a predicament worsened by the lingering pandemic. Financial data from Meituan paints a grim picture, indicating staggering losses amounting to 23.5 billion yuan, $3.7 billion in 2021, coupled with reports of employee layoffs in 2022. This stark reality underscores the systemic challenges and exploitative practices prevalent in these industries, raising concerns about the well-being of the workers who form their backbone. The CCP's official media often portrays individuals enduring harsh working conditions as positive examples. However, this approach minimizes societal inequality, fostering a perception that financial struggles result solely from individual effort. In essence, the narratives propagated by official channels may not serve as genuine inspiration but rather as a means to dissuade the impoverished from questioning their circumstances. The cycle of hard work for promised wealth, as presented by these tales, inadvertently contributes to the acceptance of the CCP's authoritarian rule among the lower class. China's migrant workers, a tale of struggle and media suppression. In a recent turn of events, NetEase, a prominent media platform in China, released a documentary on January 8, 2024, titled 30 Years of Working Like This with the revealing subtitle, Hefei, Migrant Workers' Survival Story. The documentary shed light on the arduous lives of China's grassroots laborers, emphasizing the challenges faced by migrant workers waiting for employment as early as 4 a.m., some of whom were unable to afford the 180 Chinese yuan (CNY) health insurance, a burden exacerbating their already precarious situations. The documentary resonated with the public, sparking widespread discussion. However, on January 9, 2024, just a day after its release, the video mysteriously disappeared from circulation. Simultaneously, all related discussions and comments, including those on the Jihu website, were systematically erased on January 10, following the removal of the video on January 9. China Business Network, CBN, a media outlet affiliated with the Shanghai Municipal Committee of the Chinese Communist Party, CCP, swiftly responded by releasing a documentary titled Migrant Workers Waiting for Work on the Roadside in the Early Hours of the Morning. This documentary aimed to shed light on the struggles of lower-class migrant workers in a different province. The removal of 30 years of working like this and the subsequent deletion of CBN's report raised questions about the unusual behavior of official financial media, especially regarding narratives that deviate from the government's positive energy propaganda. The documentary focused on laborers who played a significant role in China's rapid urban development but found themselves in dire circumstances despite decades of hard work. The dividends of economic growth have eluded them, and they have become the forgotten generation, facing challenges such as unemployment, unpaid medical insurance, and the fear of old wages. The documentaries underscore the grim reality faced by these workers, emphasizing the pervasive issue of unpaid wages in a labor market that offers meager daily pay, lacks job security, and experiences intense competition. Hefei, despite being a rapidly developing city in central China, witnesses daily wages for rural migrant workers slashed to less than $25, exacerbating the difficulties of finding employment. The situation is worsened by companies' reluctance to hire workers over 55 years old, pushing this demographic to engage in odd jobs that provide daily settlements to avoid the risk of unpaid wages. The fear of owed wages and the struggle to survive in a competitive job market underscore the challenges faced by these workers. The articles then delve into broader issues within China's political landscape, touching upon the removal of critical articles challenging the Xi Jinping government's policies. This suppression extends beyond the realm of documentaries, indicating a broader trend of control over narratives deviating from the government's stance. The editorial upheaval is indicative of a broader trend in which media outlets, even those affiliated with the CCP like CBN, deviate from the official narrative. This phenomenon signals a significant shift in public opinion against Xi Jinping's government, with visible signs of discontent, such as the disposal of Xi's books on a university campus. In conclusion, the intertwined narratives of migrant workers' struggles and media suppression paint a vivid picture of the challenges faced by a forgotten generation in China. The suppression of critical media content reflects a broader struggle within the country's political landscape, as voices within the media industry openly challenge Xi Jinping's policies. These events mark a turning point, indicating growing dissent and an awakening among various segments of Chinese society against the CCP regime. The stores in Shanghai are empty. The economy of the city has been in decline for months now. Even on the first day of the Mid-Autumn Festival and National Day holiday, Shanghai is still an empty city. The streets of Shanghai are full of closed stores. Only a very lucky few are still open. Shanghai is one of the world's largest seaports and a major industrial and commercial center of China. Despite its reputation, many places in Shanghai still look like rural areas. Not only that, they are empty. The stores in Shanghai are empty. The economy of the city has been in decline for months now. Even on the first day of the Mid-Autumn Festival and National Day holiday, Shanghai is still an empty city. Shanghai, once a vibrant cosmopolitan metropolis and magnet for foreign companies, is experiencing a sharp exodus of expatriates and withdrawal of foreign investments. Statistics from the Shanghai municipal government show a precipitous drop in foreigners entering the city. From January to June 2023, only 756,200 foreigners entered Shanghai, a 75% decrease compared to the same period in 2019. The 7th National Census in 2020 recorded 163,954 foreigners living in Shanghai. Yet after 3 years of pandemic restrictions and a deteriorating business environment, their numbers have dwindled to a fraction of this count. This mass departure of foreigners is glaringly evident across Shanghai's expatriate enclaves. Along with the expatriate exodus, Shanghai is witnessing a continuous retreat of foreign companies that once drove its prosperity. Carrefour, the French retail pioneer that opened China's first hypermarket in 1995, is withdrawing all of its 30 stores from Shanghai by 2024. From its peak presence of 230 stores in China, Carrefour has shut down 2/3 amid years of losses. Its rise and impending fall is seen as symbolizing the changing fortunes of foreign brands in China. Many foreign companies like SAIC Volkswagen are shut down and moved out of Shanghai. The RT Mart Shanghai Minhang store is closed. On the last day of business, most of the goods were cleared. Like Carrefour, numerous other major foreign companies across sectors have downsized or exited China in recent years. Shanghai's reputation as the most foreign business-friendly city in China no longer retains the lure it once held. Challenging political and operating conditions, COVID disruptions, and dampening growth prospects have combined to trigger a foreign corporate exodus. The streets of Shanghai are full of closed stores. Only a very lucky few are still open. The departure of expatriates and foreign businesses will deal a body blow to Shanghai's cosmopolitan, outward-looking culture and aspiration to be Asia's economic and financial capital. Its transformation from magnet to repellent for foreign investments underscores the pressures facing China's weakening economy and fraught ties with the Western world. With the foreign community that powered Shanghai's rise now beating a hasty retreat, the city faces a deeply uncertain future. Financial crisis hits CCP as Shanghai orders halt on incomplete infrastructure projects. The CCP's finances are in deep crisis. It is reported that Beijing has ordered the country to halt infrastructure projects that are less than half completed. Later, it was reported that the Golden Central Development Belt project, a key project in Shanghai, had been urgently suspended. This church hasn't been finished for a long time. Considering China's violation of freedom of religion, it makes sense. The unfinished building in Shanghai has been abandoned for more than 10 years. On January 21st, a supplementary notice on sorting out related situations of new construction projects in the Golden Central Development Belt in 2024 was uploaded on Weibo, with the word urgent in the title. The notice was issued on December 29th last year. For those who don't know, Golden Central Development Belt is a key construction project launched in July 2020 in Pudong New area of Shanghai. Located in the 28.7 km central Pudong section of Pudong New area, a large number of major construction and major projects will be successively implemented, which will become the highlight of the development of Pudong area in Shanghai during the 14th five-year plan period. The goal is to combine the new construction projects in the Golden Central Development Belt in 2024 in accordance with the spirit of the instructions of the main leaders of the city and district. Commercial housing, commercial, office, research and development, and industrial projects of a public welfare nature are suspended. According to the official media of the Communist Party of China, the Golden Middle Ring Development Belt is an important strategic carrier and major landmark project in Pudong, with a total planned investment of approximately 624 billion yuan, a developable space of 10 square kilometers, and a planned unbuilt industrial space of approximately 3.6 billion yuan. The planned unbuilt residential space is about 4.7 square kilometers, and the planned unbuilt commercial space is about 2 square kilometers. But many development projects in Shanghai have been stopped, and projects approved last year or before have also been stopped because no one will buy the houses after they are built, and neither residential buildings nor office buildings can be rented out. A post circulating on the internet shows that the vacancy rate in some areas such as Shanghai Hongkou, Sichuan North Road, Pudong Lujiazui, Qiantan, Huamu, and other areas exceeds 40%. Qin Jining, secretary of the Shanghai Municipal Committee of the Communist Party of China, has set the tone that the city will no longer approve commercial projects such as new shopping malls and office buildings. That explains why this shopping mall hasn't been done. Independent commentator Kai Shingkuan posted on the overseas social platform administrative operations are simply unable to cope with the so-called 20 billion large-scale project. Moreover, the myth of rising housing prices that has lasted for decades has become a thing of the past. People's expectations for the future have been greatly reduced. There will no longer be impulsive home buying groups, and housing sales will no longer be the same. As hot as it has been in the past, investing in real estate, whether residential or office buildings, has become increasingly risky. China's local governments are heavily in debt, and it is said that the total debt may exceed 100 billion yuan. Beijing authorities had issued notices to local governments, requiring them to postpone or stop some state-funded infrastructure construction projects to control debt risks. China's State Council has issued directives to local governments and state-owned banks in recent weeks, requiring 12 provinces and cities to postpone or halt construction projects that are less than halfway through. Shanghai in crisis, exodus, economic decline, and domestic worker struggle. Shanghai has long been heralded as a bustling metropolis teeming with expatriates and business opportunities, a beacon of China's economic prowess. However, recent shifts have seen this dynamic city grappling with a new reality, one of exodus and economic downturns, leaving a distinct mark on its employment landscape, particularly in the domestic work sector. As foreign enterprises withdraw and expatriates depart, Shanghai's domestic workers, who once prided themselves on their niche catering to international households, now face a world of change. The exodus of foreigners from Shanghai has not only symbolized a loss of cultural diversity but has set off a domino effect, signaling the end of the good days for domestic helpers who previously provided their services to expatriate families. Hey guys, is it true that the entire Shanghai is going through layoffs? I was at work just fine yesterday, you know? Then in the afternoon, they called me back to the office. Guess what happened? I got pulled into a meeting, and they said the company has been going through tough times lately. You catch my drift, right? They were pretty straightforward about it, and well, I lost my job. I don't get it. Everything was going fine. I was even thinking of sticking around until after the Chinese New Year. The impact is significant and twofold. Reduced demand leads to increased competition for the now scarcer jobs, and those who adapt to the changing market by serving Chinese families often do so with diminished compensation and harsher working conditions. Gone are the days of the 13th salary month and those extended vacation periods. Now, these same workers find themselves engaged for 6 days a week instead of 5, and with no holiday benefits that once made the demanding work much more palatable. To illustrate the scope of this downturn, consider that Shanghai's population of foreign workers dropped from 80,000 in 2020 to 70,000 a year later. This decreasing trend in Shanghai's foreign population directly translates to fewer employment opportunities for domestic workers who specialize in serving these expatriate households. Moreover, the city has seen its total population fall for the third time since 2015, with a notable exodus of 257,000 migrant workers in the last year alone. This shift in employment terms presents both economic and social pressures on domestic workers, many of whom relied on the favorable conditions previously afforded to them. With a reduction in the overall benefits and the number of days off, domestic employees are compelled to recalibrate their work-life balance, often tipping the scales unfavorably towards extended working hours for less pay. Engaging with the exodus aftermath, these workers, predominantly women, grapple with navigating an inflated workload and diminished job security while living in a city known for its high cost of living. The narrative epitomizes a broader reflection of the challenges facing Shanghai's labor market against the backdrop of an ebbing economy and evolving demographic trends. In conclusion, what unfolds in Shanghai speaks volumes about the interconnected nature of globalization and local economies. The outflow of an international community has ramifications far beyond the boardrooms and business sectors. It permeates the daily lives of individuals in the most intimate settings of their employment. As Shanghai, and indeed China, continues to face dramatic economic restructuring, the fates of these workers remain a potent reminder of the human element entwined in the fabric of a transforming city. Adding to the dramatic picture, China is witnessing the world's largest exodus of millionaires, with a net loss of 10,800 high-net-worth individuals having migrated out in 2022, and an expected departure of another 13,500 this year. This outflow reflects a broader trend of wealth and expertise pulling out of the region, shaking the economy to its core and compounding the effects on every stratum of the workforce, from top-tier professionals to the hard-working domestic staff. The mass exodus of foreigners and companies from Shanghai marks a dire turning point for what was once China's most cosmopolitan and economically vibrant city. The resulting void serves as a stark reminder of Shanghai's rapid descent from Asia's financial hub and a beacon for international business. Instead of being a symbol of outward-looking dynamism, the city now grapples with deserted streets and abandoned expatriate enclaves, underscoring its dwindling stature and growing isolation in China. The once bustling metropolis, a pioneer in the country's reform and opening up, now faces an existential identity crisis. The intertwined fate of Shanghai and China mirrors a broader economic slowdown and a bleak investment landscape. Years of pandemic disruptions, escalating geopolitical tensions, and policy blunders have triggered a mass exodus of capital and an alarming retreat of corporations. Shanghai's skyline is marred by empty skyscrapers, stalled mega-projects, and a labor force struggling for survival, reflecting the toll on both human lives and shattered infrastructure dreams. As the engines that once fueled Shanghai's prosperity now sputter, the city is left to look inward in a desperate attempt to revive its fortunes. However, cut off from the world and devoid of its former cosmopolitan vibrancy, the prospects of Shanghai reclaiming its status as the Pearl of the Orient and the vanguard of China's future appear increasingly doubtful. If the current downward trajectory persists, Shanghai may descend into a somber monument of the country's wasted potential, a glittering shell hauntingly void of its former glory.